Have you ever wondered why I don't do any negative reviews? Have you ever wondered why I don't put out videos like 10 bands I don't like, 10 albums I hate, 20 songs I can't stand, something like that? Yeah, if you wondered that, there's a reason for it. And the reason is, and I'll explain it a little more, but the reason is I celebrate music. Hey everyone, welcome to LiveProg. I am Marcel, and yeah, I'm celebrating music, and there's a good reason for that. In the past, I did reviews where I talked about an album and mentioned things that I didn't like. I never really did a review as far as I can remember, and I have a lot of videos on my channel, so maybe there is a review somewhere about me saying this is a bad album, don't listen to it. It is possible, but as far as I know, I never did that. The reason is when I started reviewing, before that, I had plans to make a website about prog. That didn't happen. I became the webmaster of Arian instead for 3 years, and I loved it. And I got in touch with all these musicians, and I got to see the music from up close. And that was a whole new world for me, and I loved it. And when I stopped working for Arian, I wanted to be involved in music in some way, and I figured reviewing might be the best way to do that. So that's why I started reviewing. Not to be a critical guy, not to be the guy that says you shouldn't listen to this album or you shouldn't listen to that album, but more like, hey man, I'm listening to this music and I love it and I want to share it with you. And I have always had that. When I stopped doing LiveProg, I moved over to comic books. There I pretty much did the same thing. I have always did positive reviews of books. At that point I was like, I am not going to waste time talking about something I don't like. Why should I waste time? Why should I not use my time to talk about the things that I do like and I hope other people will like as well? And of course it is possible that I am really excited about an album and when you listen to it you're like, I can't understand why he's excited about it. I really don't like this album. That is possible. We all have different tastes. We all have our likes and dislikes. So yeah, that is possible. But at the same time, yeah, that's the reason why I did it. And I decided to go on record, to put on the camera and talk about that for a moment. And of course use the opportunity, as I said, to celebrate music, to talk about a couple of albums that really make me happy when I listen to them. And albums that I think you should at least listen to. And hopefully they cheer you up the same way they did me. And that's why I said celebrating music. Now, I wanted to try something different in this video, and I had my my headphones and my other phone to put it on while I was doing this video, so that I could hear some music and talk about it. I saw this with Jim Newstead, a YouTuber. He always has headphones on, so I figured, you know what, if he can pull it off, I can pull it off. Yeah, I tried it. I think I lasted about 30 seconds and I put them off and turned off the camera and started all over again because it felt so weird. I couldn't hear myself correctly and I was like, no, this is not working for me. So I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to talk something sensible about a few albums I have. As you maybe recall, I did a video on 3 albums you must have. The Evron Shells album, the Ghost of the Machine album, Empires Must Fall, and EVOS 12 by the Aurora Project. By the way, if you feel I'm out of breath, that has 2 reasons. My enthusiasm and COVID. That's not a happy combination. That's so sometimes I need to slow down. That is one of the things I noticed. I mean, when I look up my older videos, I really talk almost really slow. I'm watching older videos and it's like, dude, pick it up, man. And now I'm like a sort of a freight train that is going at top speed and can't stop anymore. And I'm trying to slow down, but it's very difficult, and that's why I get out of breath. So, and like I said, COVID did not do any good in that department. Anyway, Jacob Roberge, The Passing. The album was released at the end of January this year. And I picked it up through some reviewers. some Canadian reviewers, the guys from Canada, so obviously, you know, they made videos about it. They got me curious. I started listening to it. That resulted in me doing an interview with Jacob, and afterwards I decided to take the plunge. That was before the album was available in Europe. I ordered it from Canada. Yeah. I wanted to have a copy. I know maybe if I had waited long enough, it would eventually end up in Europe, which would have been cheaper, but I didn't want to wait. So I got a copy. I'm really happy about this. If you're not familiar with this album, Jacob Roberge is a classically trained singer. He's a multi-instrumentalist. He'd done a lot in musical theater. And when he was about 15, he was playing in cover bands, doing AC/DC stuff. I got that from the interview. And he wanted to write like this big epic piece about the 5 stages of grief. And he started working on that when he was 15. It took him 10 years, but he made it. And that became the passing. And he plays a lot of the instruments himself. He has a few friends, notably William Gaburi, doing guitars, but also helping with the production of the album. And when you listen to this album, it is absolutely stunning. It is stunning. It's 6 songs. The 6th song is a 32-minute epic. He was inspired by the likes of Neil Morse, of Steven Wilson, Rush, of course, those kind of bands. And he wanted to do, this prog thing on his own. This was his first attempt on prog. Although I would say it's very symphonic, the album. But this is really stunning. And the other 5 songs, before you get that epic, each of them are really amazing. He's a fantastic songwriter. Of course, he's an amazing singer. You can imagine that. At the same time, there's lots of nice pianos in it. There's a lot of beautiful guitars in it. There are some heavier parts in it. There's one track called Petrichor. And I can only refer you to the interview I did, because there Jacob explains the story about that. But that is a miniature epic in itself. It clocks around 10 minutes as well. And that has a trumpet solo. It's like, wow. This is really a remarkable album. It's a debut album from Jacob Roberge. It is stunning. Fortunately, if you're curious, if you haven't heard it, it's on streaming, it's on Bandcamp. Have a listen and support the guy and buy this album, because it is awesome. I really hope that there will be more, that he will continue on this path, because, yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. A good way to slow down the pace is get a sip of my coffee. Yeah, and probably this video will turn up way longer than I want. I want to do 5-minute videos, but generally I can't. Like I said, I'm enthusiastic, I celebrate music, and I even try to narrow it down, because each of these albums I could talk for a lot longer than that. Like this one, Tribe3, Life Among Strangers. This is their 2nd album. This is the first one. Again, a band I did an interview with. And these guys were so nice, they sent me these 2 CDs. That was really awesome. Steve Hughes, Chris Jones, and Jonathan Kinsey. I had a lovely chat with Chris and Jonathan about all things Tribe3 and a lot more, and we had a lot of fun. If you want to really see a fun conversation, check out that interview. But what is most important is, and I'm going to focus on this one, on the 2nd album, Life Among Strangers, because back at the beginning of the year, I kind of had that notion, like maybe I'm going to do an end of the year list this year. And I quickly filled up my top 10 with a lot of albums. This one came in it. This one came in it. Of course, the 3 albums I did in the other video came in it. And the other 2 albums I have here are also in it. So my top 10 is almost filled up already, and we're only halfway the year. And I missed out on albums, and there are a lot more albums that I want to include, so I'm not going to do that. But what I want to do is point out this album, this band, Tribe3. It's a Welsh band. You may have never heard of them, but they are worth listening to. And again, Bandcamp, check it out. Their music is on Bandcamp. You have a listen to it. This is absolutely a beautiful album. When you start this album, the first track, Voyager, is a long song. It's a very atmospheric song. It's really beautiful. And then you go to the second song, which is called Falls Like Rain. And then you have a completely different sound. That sounds more like a modern version of neo-prog. The neo-prog we used to know back in the 90s. I told these guys in the interview, if you would have put out that song in the 90s, it would have ended up probably on SI Music. It would have probably on an SI compilation disc. I would have heard it. I would have become a fan for life for this band. But it doesn't stay like that, because the next song, Last Encore, is completely different again. And different in the sense that it is so incredibly beautiful that I cannot put to words how beautiful it is. I can't. There are a couple of songs on this album that I'm like, I can't describe how much I love this one. Requiem for a Friend is a very touching, very short instrumental song dedicated to I believe he's from the progressive aspect. I'll put the name in here. I got a blank. But this is someone who supported the band from the very beginning, and he really promoted them. And they were so thankful that he passed away. They were so thankful that they dedicated a song especially to him. Well, I think that's really touching and really amazing. The title track shows again a completely different side of this band, because here we have a very catchy, poppy chorus in it, a very poppy influence in it, but it works so well. Yeah, and the remaining two songs, again, I don't know how to describe them. So this is really a fantastic album. This is an album you might very easily overlook, because it's not a big name. But this is a big album. This is really amazing music, and these guys are worth to be heard. So please, listen to it. And if you like what you hear, well, you can thank me later, of course. Maybe you know, maybe you don't know, but I have been away for the whole prog thing for many years. And I only came back at the end of 2023. So I missed out on a lot of things. And there was one band that before I left Prague, I really loved very much, Cosmograf. And along the way, I picked up that they had a live album out. Well, it's a bootleg, but it's a live album. And I figured, wow, I figured this was a studio project, but no, Robin Armstrong took it to the stage. Which is awesome, of course. And I was like, I kind of want to have that album. Well, I have it now, so I'm really happy about that. But what I'm more happy about is that I also heard that there was a new album coming out. Now, I missed out quite a few albums, but I got this one. The Orphan Epoch. Yeah, and wow, again, you know, from what I know from Cosmograf and from what I've heard, it's kind of music that I really like. I really love to listen to it. I think Robin Armstrong is an amazing musician, putting all this together, going on for so long. I believe this is his 10th studio album, so he must be doing something right that he's keeping it up for so long. And this one is absolutely brilliant. The moment that it clicked with me that this was a brilliant album was a moment when I had a digital version on my phone. And I went to a flea market on King's Day here in the Netherlands. And I had the music on and I had my headphones on and I was walking around. And I've been walking around there for, I think, 2 hours or something. And at a certain point, I realized, like, hey man, the album should have been finished by now. But of course, you know, it's going on repeat. So it had been on repeat for about 2 hours. And I hadn't noticed that it'd been on repeat. Now, in a way you can say, oh, so it's boring, you don't even notice. But at the same time, you can say, maybe it was so beautiful that I was enjoying it so much that I didn't realize that I already heard songs, that I was listening to them for a second time. That's what happened with this album. That was a moment like I was like, wow, this is an incredible album. And I haven't listened to it not nearly enough. So again, you know, what can I say about this album? Again, that is great prog, that there are nice heavy parts on it. There are very melodic parts on it. That is amazing songwriting when you listen to this album. And like I said, I missed several albums. I haven't listened to everything he put out in the time that I was gone. So I don't... this is a bit of a statement that I can't back up, but I'm going to do it. I think this is probably one of the best albums that he has released. Because when you listen to it, the way he plays it, the way he sings it, the guitar parts in it, vocally, there's some Roger Waters in it. There's some of these haunted vocals in it that I really like very much. And that there's so much to enjoy in it. And again, every time I put this album on, time seem to go by like I don't notice it. I'm just enjoying the music. I'm celebrating the music, and I'm absolutely loving this album. And if you are not familiar with Cosmograf, I can imagine that you're not familiar with it. But even though, if you missed out this album, again, check it out on Bandcamp, have a listen. If you like it, please order it. Support these independent bands, because, you know, all these albums I'm showing here are not backed by a label. Well, Robin Armstrong has his own label, so he's kind of backing up himself. But the rest of these guys, these are all independent releases, and these are so incredibly beautiful. They are worth to be heard. So check out Cosmograf, the Orphan, Epoch. Maybe you've noticed that with the first two albums I mentioned, interviews with Cosmograf, I didn't. That's not that I forgot. I haven't done an interview with Robin Armstrong. I was supposed to do one, but I got ill and I got, you know, not feeling very well mentally. So that interview didn't happen yet. Hopefully it still will happen, but I have to get in touch with Robin about that. So that will happen as well. And I have the last one for you guys, and girls, of course, and anyone else. Yeah, and this also, and again, I did an interview with Malcolm Galloway from Hats Off Gentlemen, It's Adequate. The name, that's the reason why I picked up that name somewhere, and I was like, man, with that name, I gotta know what it is. And I started listening to it and I was like, wow, I was really intrigued by it, because this is something completely different. I mean, the other three albums, they are still, if you listen to it, you know, if you like prog, you probably love every one of them. This one might probably take a little bit more effort to listen to it, because it's a little more complex album. It's a little bit different sounding. It has a lot of other influences other than prog in it. It has jazz influences in it, punk influences in it, electronic influences, and even some metal influences. So there's a lot in it. Hats Off Gentlemen, It's Adequate is Malcolm Galloway and Mark Gatland. And it's just two guys making music. And if you watch or listen to the interview, you will notice that this is not a band that had it easy. They had some struggles, especially Malcolm with his health, a lot of struggles, but still they perform live. And I've seen videos of it, and when you see these two guys on stage, it's just two guys and a laptop, but they are rocking out, which is awesome. And this album, this is the latest one. It's their 8th studio album, and the Uncertainty Principle. And well, it has this really, really busy cover, which is very interesting. But the music is even more interesting because it is kind of inspired by the Heisenberg Principle, which is a book about quantum physics, which is something I am totally not into. I have no knowledge of that, nothing. But it also deals with a lot of historical things. And that makes it a really interesting combination. And like I said, it is a little bit more complex music. It might take a little bit more effort to really listen to really appreciate it. But I gotta say, whenever I put this album on, I absolutely love it. There are a couple of songs that I really consider my favorite. Copenhagen and Cause and Effect, but not necessarily in that order. That's an instrumental song, and it's really awesome. But the Uncertainty Principle, the title track, is really beautiful. But my absolute favorite track is One Word That Means the World. It's based on the story of a guy who was in a Russian submarine at a critical point where the decision would be made: are we going to fire nuclear weapons, yes or no? And he said no. And the reason he said no is the reason why we didn't have a nuclear war many years ago. So, and it's also a beautiful song, because the song, and that is something that Malcolm also says in the interview, that song is kind of also a bit about, sometimes we think we are brave, but we only know when we are at a certain point when we have to make a certain decision. That's the point when we really know who we are, what we are capable of. When you sit in a comfy, easy chair, you can come up with all things like, yeah, I'm going to do this, yeah, I'm going to do that. But when the moment is there and you have to do it, that's the moment you know if you will. And that message in that song is really strong, but at the same time, it is also a very beautiful song. And definitely a song to celebrate, because it has this, well, it saved the world. So it is a moment to celebrate. And well, this is an album to celebrate. Hats off, gentlemen. The Uncertainty Principle. Cosmograf, the Orphan, Epoch is an album to celebrate. Tribe3, Life Among Strangers is an album to celebrate. And Jacob Roberge, The Passing, is another album to celebrate. 4 albums that I wanted to share with you in this video. And also, tell you a little bit the reasons why I celebrate music. It's because I love it. I want to share it. I want to send out a positive vibe, a positive message. And like I said, the algorithm likes drama. And if you don't do drama, if you don't just do positive things, we call it news, but in the news, it's usually drama, bad things, depressing things, stuff that's going on in the world that nobody likes, but it happens. That's why people watch it. If the news would be all about good things, I don't know how many people would watch it. So that's an interesting thought. Would you watch it if the news would only bring positive thoughts? Well, I'm bringing positive thoughts about all this beautiful music that I want to share with you, and I have a lot more to come, and also a lot more interviews, so stay tuned. Join me in my journey through music. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, share it, comment on it. Let me know what you feel about these albums and about celebrating music. What is an album you would celebrate? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you guys with the next video.